Yeah, good evening, fellow patriots, and welcome back to Zod's Vision. This is one of those channels that's going to be up in your face and not really too apologetic about anything, if apologetic at all, because to keep it brutally honest, we are well within our reason as Americans to state what we need to state, you know, within reason, you know what I mean? Because there is some things that we would be considered extremely inflammatory. But on this channel, I'm just going to give it to you how I need to give it to you. And if you choose to accept that fact, you can accept it. If you don't, then that's just your choice. And then we all have choices in life. But I just really want to speak about the Democratic Party, but not just the Democratic Party, but some of these socialists, you know what I mean? And one of them in particular is the one I really want to get into, is this Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, aka the Loca Cortez, you know what I mean? Or hashtag Loca Cortez, whatever you want to say. It's just like, I find that her whole argument on life in general just ludicrous. And the reason I'm going to say that is because this whole thing with the Green Deal. Let's just go into the Green Deal real quick, okay? Within 10 years, she wants to get rid of all fossil fuels. So basically take us back to the Stone Age. It's understandable the planet is in deterioration because of so-called fossil fuels and, you know, climate change and all these other things. And I do believe in climate change, but I also believe in the fact you have to show me more proof outside of just a couple of bleeding heart images. But that's not to disprove the fact that there's global warming and, you know, the climate change is like drastic. But if anybody knows, there's always a start and there's an ending. And this planet will run its course, and it's probably not going to run its course for maybe a billion years or a few million years or whatever. Whatever number you decide to put on it. The world is not going to end tomorrow. We may end. Any national disaster is capable of wiping us out and removing us from this planet, but that's just the way things are. Things run their course. At one time, everything was Ice Age. Now, you know, eventually we might end up back in Ice Age, but that won't be due to we may only expedite certain things by using certain fuels. But if you know radon, whatever, sorry about that, it comes naturally out the ground, you know, and that is radiation. There's so many things that affect you know what I mean, affect the ozone layer. At one time they said that the ozone layer was completely depleted, but that's wrong, because if it was completely depleted, the sun would have burnt us up already. Now, if the sun chooses to explode or implode, which would maybe cause a black hole, the sun is not going supernova for a long time. You know what I mean? It is constantly growing. So when it does happen to explode or implode, it will pull us within, or it'll explode and just destroy our planet, period. But those are millions of years from now. Half of us won't even be living. Who's to know, like, tomorrow something is like a tsunami, or you know, everything melts and then it rises and we all die. So that's the argument right now. Like, if we don't control fossilized fuels or just get rid of them in general, which would send us right back to the Stone Age, if we don't get rid of that, we're all gonna die, you know. And this is what I laugh about with Loca Cortez, or Alexandria Ocasio Cortez. I had her name written down right here because, you know, I didn't really want to call her Loca, because I really have nothing against her. It's just a simple fact. Some of her arguments are just stupid, you know what I mean? And I'm just going to put it like that. Not to be nice, they're stupid. A lot of people, and the reason I chose to get on her, because a lot of people that I know were like, oh yeah, you know, Latina next president, you know, dethrone Trump. It's not going to happen, especially with this one right here. They already got pictures coming out. And that's allegedly that it was her in the tub taking selfies or whatever of her feet, like whatever. I didn't see her face, so I can't say that's her. But, you know, you got things of that nature coming up, and the fact that not only did she come with this stupid deal with this Green Deal, which let me go back to that. Within 10 years to get rid of all fossil fuels, but which is, I find, somewhat contradictory, because if that's going to keep the world from you know, continue to erode and go into decay, and all human life is will no longer be viable, then why in 12 years or 10 to 12 years you say the world is going to end anyway? Like, I just don't really understand the argument. It's like, if it's going to end in 10 to 12 years, why try to remove fossil fuels within 10 to 12 years? And maybe people will make the argument, well, she was saying, well, if you don't remove fossil fuels, this is what is going to happen. No. how can you predict that? You're not Mother Nature, you're not God, whatever God you know choose to represent. You're neither of them. You're a human being just like us, and listen to certain things just like us, and come up with your own point of view. And your point of view is not valid just due to the fact that you can't prove it. You can see every imagery on TV of polar icebergs, you know, breaking down and flooding the sea, and it's starting to rise naturally. Maybe certain things we do expedite the process of breaking down the planet, but it was bound to happen anyway. The human being is a parasite on any planet it goes to. No matter if we go to Mars or we're a parasite, because we continue to consume until we can't consume no more. So that's why, like, most of the you see most of these movies about people with parasitic ways. That's the human race. But I mean, we are human, so of course we're gonna show solidarity to ours. But we're not going into alien stuff. This is just basically about her and the fact that she continues to make these broad statements that make absolutely no sense. She can you know, point out certain things about, you know, the government and how you know, certain ways of doing things is crooked. But I mean, on all sides of the party, there's crooked individuals. It doesn't matter what party you in. It's just funny that most of the Democrats now are speaking, not only, I won't say speaking out of turn, but talking absolute nonsense. It's garbage, you know what I mean? And they can't, a lot of stuff they say can't be proven. But the thing why I got on this one in particular, and I kind of went into like her whole little, you know, her whole deal, is because people were saying that she would be the next president. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for a female president. You know, Hillary Clinton, you know, I couldn't trust her, and nobody trusts her, and that's why Trump got elected. Not on his merits alone, but just the simple fact that you picked the lesser of two evils. Trump was shooting it from the hip. People respected that, even though, you know, a lot of hate mongers came out the closet. And even now, you got a lot of people that say you have to be racist in order to back Trump, and Trump is making you look stupid. No, it's you chose the lesser of two evils. Hillary Clinton was a trash, you know what I mean? And she wasn't good for the United States. Bernie Sanders was good, but he has socialist views. And everybody, when you talk about a socialist, people get nervous. It's like, okay, what? Everybody on equal term? What? Everybody, you know, forget about on your own merit. You should give me your money anyway because you're a billionaire. You need to pay for some of these, you know, programs to help certain sick people. Like, at the end of the day, it's understandable. United States has a lot of bleeding hearts. We are not only warmongers, but humanitarians. But at the end of the day, if a man makes billions of dollars, doesn't mean he should have to take care of you. We're all on this planet to get along, basically to get along and to earn things on our own merit. You got them now giving kids trophies for doing absolutely nothing. Like, that's the way, that's the thing. Like, when I grew up, there was no such thing that you got a trophy for participation. Now it's cool, you can get a trophy for participation, but you want to give certain trophies to people that absolutely didn't earn it. The same way you're trying to give this chick, I mean, excuse my language, not this chick because I don't want to sound sexist, but Loca Cortez or Ocasio, whatever, you want to give her a clear sight towards the being the president of the United States, but she hasn't earned it. Just because she's outspoken and able to and well versed in certain things doesn't mean that she's worthy of the throne. You may not like Trump, but he's the president of the United States, and it's just the way it is. Until you dethrone him, there's no way you can get around him. And what's funny is because even if you did dethrone him, he will always be known as a president of the United States that shot it from the hip. And it's funny, like, he likes to go on Twitter and troll people, but I mean, you knew what type of president he was before he even got elected. He's a star, you know, he had his own show and everything, you know, and he's always been in the media. So, you know, I think a lot of you, the reason why Trump is in office because you tried to bully and you tried to say certain things about him, and you just had zero faith in the fact that he could make it, and people made you believe it, you know. But like I said, I'm not a Trump supporter and I'm not against Trump. I'm just me, you know what I mean? I'm a patriot, and I go with the flow into certain things I see that are not right. And that's the thing with a dark patriot, you know, some evils are necessary, you know what I mean? But putting these people in a position to where you think that they should gain the power, yeah, Loca Cortez, it's never gonna happen. I mean, just the whole thing with NY, and you know, and that's the one thing that infuriates me about this chick. You're worried about the Green Deal, But you got the thing in New York to where basically you can be all the way to, you know, full term and abort a baby, like Planned Parenthood and all this other stuff, keeping fetuses alive in order to conserve their brain and things of that nature. This is all on people like you. You're from New York. You're a dim socialist that you think everybody should be on the same playing field, that if I made billions, I should kick down to you because you don't have millions. You earn it on your own merit. And that's the problem with socialism. You guys can't get it right. You're in a Democratic Social Party or whatever you want to call it. You're crazy. And that's why they call her Loca Cortez, because a lot of stuff she say makes absolutely no sense. Like I said, she is well versed in certain things, but she makes absolutely no sense. Get rid of fossil fuels and within 10 years, everything will be gravy. But then you turn around and say, no matter what, it's going to end anyway in 12 years as if you're somewhat of a prophet or whatever. All I'm going to say like this with Loca Cortez. Just because you're a Latino don't mean you should get the vote. You know what I mean? Just because you're a Latino, just because you're well versed in certain things don't mean you should get the vote. I'm laughing because the Dems are putting up all these boo-boos and bobos and dummies that really don't know what they're doing. They're just trying to get elected in order to dethrone Trump. Out of out of sheer I don't even know what to call it. They're so mad at the fact that he got into office that anybody they think can beat him, they're putting up. And they're putting up all the wrong people. I'm telling you, skeletons in their closet are going to start coming out, especially with this one. You know what I mean? You can't get into office and you want to abort babies at 9 months. That's in your state. If you want to do something about that. All this Green Deal, put that on the back burner and stop people from aborting at 9 months. Killing babies. You guys are straight savages. You know what I mean? And I don't use that word lightly. You're a savage when you believe in that. So 9 months, you want to abort a baby? That's why I can't see your views. Now, there might be a Democrat that rise about their party that's actually worthy of the throne. But until you figure out who you're going to get and make sure their record is stellar and they don't have no skeletons in their closet, you're never going to get it. And this one, yeah. Just because she's Latina don't mean she should get your vote. And people like this are the ones continue to push Latinos and blacks towards the Republican and conservative party, because a lot of Democrats are trash. And, you know, and they're going to do absolutely nothing for this country but, you know, business as usual. Just like Hillary Clinton. She would have got into office, more solidarity towards another country than her own. You know what I mean? So, yeah, people did the right thing. You may not like Trump, but I guess I would take him over Hillary any day. It could have been Bernie Sanders, but you guys chose to back this dim socialist that really didn't know which way she wanted to go. And she was a charlatan, just like her husband. You know what I mean? So, yeah, on that note, I'm your boy, Zaz Vision. Hopefully you like my, you know, my rants. But, yeah, you enjoy the rest of your day. Yeah, I haven't figured out this editing, so I'm pretty much out. And if you need something to say, just leave it in the comments.